Hello again, YouTube. This is the gig, man. I want to talk about DoorDash, of course, and I want to do some stats. Like this is gonna be part one. I'm gonna start doing statistical breakdowns um, on a regular basis in terms of gig work because this is important. Like when people make a judgment about gig work, it's important to understand that some areas are better than others when it comes to gig work. Now, me myself, I would say on average, I probably average around maybe seven, a little over 700 a week. But I take a lot of breaks. I stop and do this, that, and I still make 700. Now, in the summer, it probably goes down drastically. Like probably if I do 40 hours or more, it'd probably be like maybe five something or more, depending on what's going on. But you got to understand that if you like gig work, then do gig work. Don't try to go back to these toxic jobs. Keep your freedom. So I want to give you some stats. And the first stat I want to give you is the top 15 cities for gig work. And this is based on, I looked at several different sources. And this is the top 16 cities. And like you see some of the YouTubers like Eli Esch, he's in Minneapolis, which is on this list. And boy, he gets some banging deliveries. So let's go over this list real quick. Then we're going to talk about it a little bit. And we're going to keep this video short. So number one on the list is San Francisco. Number two on the list is Atlanta. Number three on the list is Los Angeles. Number four is Boston. 5, Washington, D.C. 6, Dallas. 7, San Jose. 8, San Diego. 9, Miami. 10, Phoenix. 11 is Minneapolis. 12 is Nashville. And Nashville, let me just stop for a second. And I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of these places. Nashville was on a lot of these lists, like Instacart, so on and so forth. Like, so Nashville, if you looking to leave, like, let's say you're in one of these crime-ridden areas of the Midwest, and you want to leave, you might want to consider this list. Number 13 is Denver. Number 14 is Chicago, and be careful with it. You know what I'm saying. Like Milwaukee is neighboring Chicago. Been there many times, so I already know what goes on there. Be careful there. And number 15 is Portland. So like I said, Nashville is one of the cities to stay on these lists. So, you want to move somewhere warm. Let's say you're a snowbird. You want to move somewhere warm. You see Phoenix is on the list. Miami is on the list. Nashville is on the list. You got Los Angeles. You got places you can go. Now, some of the places are higher cost of living. So like I tell you guys all the time, you want to have some money before you get there. Possibly have your housing in place. If not, have thousands of dollars, at least $5,000 where you can work. Get you a little hotel room and just keep working. Like, it's places online where you can verify your income with the gig. I can't remember exactly. It was one in particular that I was going to use. When it comes back to me, I'll mention it on the video, but I can't remember which one it was. So yeah, like if you thinking about moving to Texas, Dallas is number 6 on the list. Now you got to be careful with the financial breakdowns of the gig. And here's why. Because most people who do gig work are not doing it full time. They're not doing it full time, so you have to be extremely careful when you look at that $23,000 a year. Listen, I can make that in my sleep, man. I can make that in my sleep. And I think what I'm going to do, like later on this year or something, is I'm going to keep track and keep receipts of how much I make from the gig for the whole entire year. But that's all I wanted to talk about on this first statistical breakdown, is like the list of the 15 cities that are best for the gig. If you having a hard time in your city and you've been considering moving, maybe you got a little money, just even if you just go and just gig maybe for like a week in one of these cities and get used to the restaurants, the workers, you'll probably be fine. But I'm not the person you want to look for to advocate for these jobs. Me personally, do the gig, find you some side hustle businesses to go along with that and keep your independence and freedom. That's just me. In terms of working these jobs, now what if your kid gets sick at school? What if if you out doing a gig, you can just shut the apps off and go get your kid. When you doing a job, oh well, we don't have anybody to cover. Get out of here, man. Thanks for watching. Keep tuning in to the gig, man, for more videos.